why is business acumen important for the oil and gas industry? It's an industry that's extremely dynamic. And literally every year, the business priorities shift. One year, it's growth as fast as can, market share. The other year, it's capital efficiency and cost cutting. The next year, it's all about free cash flow. And it depends on the business cycle. It depends on the economic environment in which the company is operating. And it's a very cyclical industry. Right when COVID began, in literally the January of 2020, 2 months before COVID, there was really a quite interesting dynamic happening between the Middle East, Saudi Arabia in particular, and Russia. They got into a little bit of a price war. They were fighting over market share and disagreeing, and they both were producing enormous amounts of fuel at the time, and oil prices dropped dramatically. And then COVID hit. And what happened when the whole world shut down? Consumption of oil dropped dramatically. Trains weren't running, ships weren't, nobody was going on cruises, nobody was flying, all the consumption dropped, so supply goes way up, demand goes way down. And so then we had a very repressed oil and gas prices during COVID. Then kind of Russia and OPEC kind of got together and settled their disagreements. And all of a sudden you hear this term of OPEC plus, which stands for OPEC plus Russia. And they came to an agreement on pricing and production levels. And they said, okay, we're going to honor these absolutely under no circumstances we're going to break it, because we're better together as an oil industry if we work together and manage our production levels. And so they constrained their production levels, and then what happened? The world starts going back to work. And all of a sudden demand goes way up and supply is being constrained. Oil prices went through the roof, and then inflation's going through the roof. And so there's all of this pressure that's going on. On top of it, you have the conflict in Ukraine. You have Western countries who have imposed sanction on oil and gas assets from Russia. 8 years of underinvestment, and so prices are very elevated. And all of the oil and gas service providers, who many of them are our clients, are really characterizing this moment in time as what they call a multi-year upcycle, where they expect prices to be high for many years, 3 to 5 years. It's always very cyclical. And historically speaking, this is when everybody rushes in with their money. Everybody ramps up production, everybody adds to the equipment and ramps everything up. But many of these companies have lost money for a long period of time, and it's been a very long 5 to 8 years for a lot of these companies. And the phrase right now that you hear on the street or with these companies is capital discipline. We're not just going to throw money at this really fast, rapidly growing industry. We're going to be really conservative. We're going to add capital at a much more conservative rate, and we're going to maintain pricing on our equipment. So imagine a company's got oil and gas equipment. They have fracking equipment. Rather than just expand as fast as they can, they're going to limit their supply, limit the capital they invest to get the best return possible. And so understanding the business, where it is in its cycle at this point, and how those strategic priorities have shifted. I have clients who literally every quarter or every 2 or 3 quarters, there's major shifts in their financial priorities, their strategic priorities, and building this skill set to really understand how your company or your customer's company is operating and the strategic and financial objectives of the company at that time are critical to long-term success in the industry.